Where are we? Agenda, Thursday, February 15th, 5:30 Select Board Conference Room. We are here for CABCOM, which is anything over $25,000 for capital items. In attendance tonight is Carl Steinhardt. He's a permanent member, or at least for a few more weeks. Doug Moglen, Select Board Chair, Joseph Didi, FinCom Chair, Alita Di Maria, FinCom member, Jeffrey Turcott is not available this evening, Russ Fox from the School Board Representative, and it says Mr. Kanicki, but he has resigned, so we'll let the Select Board know. I think they'll have to find someone. Okay. What's up first on this is on the agenda is Police Department. Do we want to reorganize the board first?
I think that would be appropriate.
All right.
So that we can have an election of officers and we can refer to who is the chairperson.
Right. Okay. I need a motion for someone to be chair.
I'll nominate Joe Didi.
I'll second that nomination.
Third. I've seen this bus. All those in favor?
No, it was a train,
It was a train.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah,
Aye.
We call a roll call vote,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman. Yeah.
roll call vote. Joe Didi will abstain.
Alita Di Maria, aye.
Doug Mogul, aye.
Carl Steinhardt, yes.
Russ Fox, aye.
All right, then we need a vice chair, correct? We need a motion for a vice chair.
Can you be the vice? What? Can you be the vice chair?
When is our second meeting?
The 29th.
Of February.
February.
February, okay. And that's our last meeting, right?
It'll depend upon what comes before you then.
Yeah, no, understood, but usually it's just two.
Two,
Okay, so yes,
sometimes
he-
it goes into a
So
third
he
if
can
it's
be chair,
necessary.
yeah, or he can be vice chair.
I'll
yes.
nominate Carl Steiner
Thank
as
you.
vice chair.
I'll second, please second that, beautiful. All those in favor, Joe Didi, aye.
Alita Di Maria, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes.
Carl Steinhardt abstain.
Russ Fox, yes.
That's all we need, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Sergeant at arms?
A fence viewer? Yeah.
You don't want anybody disabled armed. Okay.
So is the police department coming in?
I would suggest we just take it out of order and move to
Sure,
the
let's go to DPW.
Oh,
Public Works Director,
Public Works
who's
Director.
here.
Randy Brown is up next.
How are we doing today?
Wonderful, how are you?
I got a handout I will share with you. I don't know what you have in front of you, but this will kind of summarize what I have to talk about today.
Thank you, sir.
Do you like one, Dave? Yeah. You all got one, right?
Yep.
You have the floor, sir.
Oh, thank you. So, I'll just jump right into it. I have 7 items to talk to you about tonight. Under highway, there are 4 items.
Yeah.
All 4 of these are kind of carryovers from prior years.
Yeah.
The first 3 I'll lump together in one discussion: paving project and construction and improvements. You can see the dollar values that each of those items have been put at. I've been here 10 years and these items have not changed in dollar value. So we do what I call small scale paving and infrastructure type projects with those types of dollars. So I hope we can continue that moving forward. The big ticket item is the paving and infrastructure improvements. This is what we do, our big paving projects. We do drainage replacements. We could do clover work. I know this number is one of the last things you talk about every year, kind of like see how much is available when all the other projects are set in place.
Yep,
So-
budget, the free cash, other revenue offsets.
Yep, so last year there was 1.5 million allocated for this project.
Not including
These
chapter
projects.
90, right?
No, this is just a local
Yep.
contribution, yep.
Thank you.
So
And
math,
then Randy, we also get that new money that's coming out of the millionaire tax. That other new, and that was what, 200?
220 to
Right,
$230,000.
so that will
the
be
fair
happening
share.
again too.
We
Because
hope,
we were at the MMA convention and they did talk about that other fund source.
Yep.
So we will be seeing that again in addition to the chapter 90 authorizations, which have already been authorized for this year. So you can add those 2 up and that'll bring you probably close to, one's the high 3s.
almost 500,
600 because the other one's in
Reset,
the high
yeah.
3s and
Yep.
this is in the low 2s.
so 600 between chapter 90 and.
Exactly, so that's gonna be about what that is.
So you can drive around town and there's no shortage of projects, right? You just don't need to go far.
It's a
So-
15-minute ride.
So, the cost of construction has gone up quite a bit in the last couple of years. We've seen that in the recent bids. So every dollar we can get towards paving and infrastructure, will certainly be appreciated.
And out of last year's number, how much do you think you spent on infrastructure versus paving?
So when I say infrastructure, talking drainage.
Yep.
It's probably last year was about a 50-50 split. We did a big project on Fred Jackson Road last year, which was all new drainage, and we spent more money on the drainage than we did on the actual paving the road.
Gotcha.
It's just the way it is.
Cool. So when we see 1.5, it necessarily doesn't mean it's all paving.
No.
Oh, no.
Correct.
No, understood. Though.
Yep.
I don't sell it that way. I sell it as paving. And I shouldn't be if it's actually both.
Yeah,
I think we've started wording it more precisely on the warrant, saying like paving and culverts or paving and infrastructure. So.
Right.
Road work.
yeah,
You know, when the press grabs it, it's always paving. I know he's there, but I don't hear structures. I hear paving.
Yeah.
People hear paving.
Oh, that's right. I do see Hi, Cliff. Nice to see you joining us this
They
evening.
see potholes, they don't see drainage.
yeah, when I pave a road, I don't want to just pave over a road.
No, you
that has
don't. You-
deteriorated
you
drainage.
don't.
I mean,
And he-
Randy's been a big champion of that since
Yeah,
he's been
literally.
here, right? We're not,
Right.
I mean, and you can see what happens when you just put a shim coat on.
Yeah.
Under previous administration of the DPW, they spit oil on 57. Well, now 57 has come home to roost, right? That's
Mhm.
why it's like that today. That road needs work, right? But all the other roads that we've done in the last few years where you do the drainage, you
Yeah.
dig it up, you make the road base right, you put it down, it will serve out its life, 25-year plus life as an asset, which is how we've been pitching a lot of the bonding projects
Right.
too, is it's not a 3-year,
Yeah.
make it look pretty and then it's gonna fall apart in 3 years. If you're bonding
Yeah.
this over, 10 plus years.
Yeah.
It better last at least as long as the bond, hopefully much longer.
Well, that's Hillside Road. It's just about lasted its bond duration. As well as, was it Ed Holcomb? That basically lasted for a certain number of years and then that's gone now.
That's 30 years.
Right, so that's on, sure,
Yeah.
that was about 94.
So 35 years, but my point is they did that right, if you do a road, you gotta make sure what you're putting pavement on top is gonna hold up against the traffic
Yeah.
and not just crumble because the underneath base is no good.
you're not fixing the problem by
Yeah,
just
you're just-
overlaying it.
Just mask it.
No different than a house renovations, but it's what's behind the wall.
Mhm. So any questions or discussion on the highway items?
What do you say the moment of the year,
Yep.
other than how many millions we can get you?
Yep. So moving on to road machinery, the one piece of equipment or vehicle we're looking for this year is a supervisor truck. This is the pickup truck that Rich Bozak drives. It is it's a 2011 F-150, 142,000 miles. I would say generally the truck is in, good shape, knock on wood, we get issues here and there. But upcoming, I do think it's gonna need a June transmission soon, which would be a big ticket item.
13 years old,
Yeah, it gets
right? And then
used.
it takes about
every
a
day.
year to get the new one.
Yeah, we asked the vendor, they said probably 6 to 8 months
For just a regular?
for a
Just
regular
an awful
pickup.
lot.
Yeah.
Ford pickup truck?
Well,
Or
Let's go to
pickup
Sarah.
Yeah, like, can we, yeah.
Don't you remember when that god awful blue sewer truck they had, how long it took?
Yeah.
We had to.
That was at the
We
height of
had to
COVID.
put,
Yeah, the
We
old
had
dive
a-
truck and
we had to put the old dive service team truck back on the road for a year or
Yeah.
two that was sitting to be sold. And use that while that truck was being
So
manufactured.
I think you can. I think that lead time, because that's not an outfitted truck. It doesn't have a plow. It doesn't
No.
have a lot of.
and I did, the last page has
Forward, I don't
the
think
quote
biggest
we got
quote,
for that
Well,
vehicle.
Right,
Yeah.
that's the most important thing that truck needs.
And then we would take that, the existing 150 and surplus that. You don't need to keep that in the fleet.
Yeah, you're right. When we get rid of certain things, we need to make sure we don't do hand-me-downs or we put them somewhere else because then we're replacing the vehicle twice.
Any questions on the truck? So next item is under sewer. This is a carryover from prior years. This is a grinder pump maintenance equipment. So we own about 275 grinder pumps that are in individual homes that are on low pressure sewer service. And we do see failures on those periodically. One of the major tasks of our sewer foreman is to go and replace those pumps. So the cost of these pumps has gone up quite a bit. Even just a few years ago, the cost for a new pump was maybe $2,000. That cost is now about $3,000. We try to refurbish the pumps whenever we can. The cost for a refurbished pump these days is, usually $1,000 to $2,000. And that cost has gone up a little bit as well. We try to keep 15 or so pumps on the shelf at our DPW facility. We are running low on that right now. I think right now we're about 7 or 8.
We saw your supplier at the conference.
FW Web, yeah,
FH
or
Mahoney.
Mahoney.
Yeah. Thus, it took me like hours to get through the trade show floor because people kept stopping them. Right, Diane? People
They're so
kept
self
stopping.
people.
So this item has been at $30,000 in prior years. I'm hoping this will be a one-time increase to 60,000 because I'd like to buy new pumps this turnaround. We have not bought any new pumps in the past few years. We've been running on refurbished pumps, and I'd like to just bring up our inventory because these can fail anytime. Like they fail at 2 o'clock in the morning, and we send someone over to take a look at it. So.
Andy, a sewer implementation committee that you're on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we signed the original agreements for the sewer, we took over the burden of the sewer pumps for the individual homeowners, which most communities don't do anymore. And one of the people that I talked to at the trade show
Changing the regs.
was talking about how some communities are now proposing changing that,
The regs.
the regs.
Got to do it in sewer.
And turning that responsibility over to the homeowners. So I'm just throwing it out there because I happened to mention to him and he said, a lot of communities are revisiting this issue and they're turning that responsibility over to homeowners.
Mm.
And homeowners seem to take better care of them, extend the life of them, are more careful.
They might be, we see a lot of rags and sheets and jeans, and you wouldn't imagine what people put down their sewer and clogs up these pumps and,
Oh, I've heard your stories over the years.
yeah,
Talk
What,
to town council
yeah.
who owns apartments.
Wipes.
He'll tell you some stories.
I mean, obviously, we have to go through this process and make the decision for this year, but it would be worthwhile to just do some research to see what communities, what that looks like in other communities in terms of the survey and see where that stands and how that works. I mean, I know that's gonna take some time, so that may not necessarily be concluded during this budget process.
So my
But
sewer,
food for thought for the future.
yeah, my sewer pump goes down, you guys come out and you fix it?
Yeah.
We fix it,
No
yeah.
Except
No
for
charge.
residential.
Unless if there's an issue
not for
where
commercial.
it was,
Yeah.
damaged,
We've had 2 of
intentionally.
those over the last few years if we're
A
lucky.
handful, yeah.
Right.
So I pay, what do I pay a quarter for my minimum service for my water and sewer is how much?
Minimum bill is about 100 and, don't quote me, about $200,
Right,
give or take,
on the sewer side.
on the sewer, yeah.
So $800 a year?
But 2 times 2, twice a
Okay,
year,
so 400.
yeah.
And the pump is $3,000?
A new pump is $3,000.
Yeah, you gotta look at something. They don't go every year, I get that. You probably get 5 to 8 years, maybe 10 years out of them.
Well, look-
So,
look-
yeah, I
look
would
at the
say
cost
more
of the septic
10 to
system.
15.
No, I realize that, but if we get, if
But that
they're
would-
billing $800
10
on a
to
good
30
day,
grand.
and the
So
pump's costing us $3,000.
you're right, but and I've seen this movie in a couple different places. Almost every city in town, when they go to sell the sewer, phase
Absolutely.
one, because it's the cost of a septic and then the on-lot, we did a lot of the on-lot work in phase one, right?
Yeah.
And we own the grinder pump.
Absolutely.
Phase two, every project, you never own the grinder pump and we don't do the on-lot. Every town learns their lesson after phase one.
Yeah.
We're lucky phase one wasn't larger.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, we
It
also.
was a selling point too.
It
And
absolutely
we needed,
was, is that, hey, if now you don't
Right.
have a septic to worry about, oh, by the way, even the pump, we're
We're gonna
gonna take
maintain
care of
it,
it
yeah.
Not only
forever.
that, Chairman,
Mr. Vice Chairman, I'm not the chairman here.
we had a considerable amount of grant money from the
Yes.
USDA at that point. in
And with the
time.
low interest loans and everything
Yes,
else,
we
we
had
reduced the cost. I got it.
One of the highest grants, so those things are not in play anymore. Randy's been trying to get other
Yeah.
grant offsets, and now it's really low interest loans, which is,
Agreed, but I'm just talking about going back on,
yeah.
Yeah,
you look at how it was sold and when you start,
Right.
I don't know what our ability is to change the terms of a deal like that. It's
Yeah.
kind of an
Well, the-
albatross that we put around our own neck as a town when we did the phase
Those
one.
housing units have turned over, so maybe
Very
what
true.
was, who was in them at that
Correct.
time, that
Right.
the substantial change in who
Right.
the people are.
And how many
And maybe
pumps?
that's how you look at it at time of,
Yeah,
because I also think you usually have an easement, right, an access easement to get to said pumps. And
There was-
You're willing to retire the easement in exchange for, oh, now you can have your pump. I don't know, but, and far afield of this, that's more for SIC, this is not for.
Well, it's that people
Capcom.
building over them. People putting patios, people building over
Well,
them, all
that's fine,
sorts.
then you can just give them the title to their pump and move on, but I mean, just a regular household, I just seen it before in other communities, in other states even, where
Yeah.
phase one, they do exactly that, and then they realize that, oh boy, this is a huge liability down the road.
I didn't mean to
Phase two.
take us
No,
off
I
topic.
hear you.
but-
No, you didn't.
Well, no, that
No.
has to, it
But
has to
I-
be discussed, that's why it's good to
Right,
do the
I
survey.
thought I would just bring it up because it was brought up to me at the convention.
Fair enough.
how many pumps a year do we replace?
I'm gonna say 30 or 40 a
There
year,
you go.
yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Well, the number's gonna go up as they-
Well, originally, when they were all put in, what was the lifespan, 10 or 15 years for the original?
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of these pumps, you know, though we're seeing,
168 of them.
yeah, we're at 20, 25 years now, the age of some of the pumps. Some of them, and then they've been refurbished. Over
Well, it's
years.
like anything else, you have some people that are good at what they're putting into their system and how they treat it. And then you got other people that might be putting a lot of bigger demand on it
Yeah,
with what they're flushing.
yeah.
So,
Anything else on the grinder pumps? So last item here is underwater for refurbish a well. So last year, we got money to refurbish well 2. This is our workhorse. Actually, that process is undergoing as we speak. So just yet today, the pump and the motor were pulled out. They're gonna be sent to a facility up in, I think, New Hampshire, to be basically broken down and see what if there's any defects. And then at the same time, we're also cleaning the well casing. So it's kind of like your shower head gets clogged up over time, the well casing also gets clogged up. So we're gonna do an acid cleanser into the well casing to open up those portholes and hopefully increase the capacity of that well. So that's happening now. So this item I put more of it as a placeholder. So when they're analyzing the pump and the motor, they're gonna come up with some recommendations, what may need to be fixed, if anything. So I don't know what that's gonna be, but I will know I'll have a much better answer on that in probably 3 or 4 weeks. So I put this as a placeholder for $30,000. It may be zero if everything comes out great with the well and, you know, or the pump and, you know, we got 5, 10 more years of life on it. Or they may say we may need some more substantial repairs. So I put this in here and I'll have more feedback on that in the next, you know, like I said, a couple of weeks. They took the well down out of service on Monday. And they pulled the pump and the motor today and it's being shipped out to
and well number 1 is still doing fine?
well 1. We went through this process on well 1 like 5 years ago and it's working great. Yeah. So we're running a well 1 right now. But well 2 is a bigger well.
If you're bigger, like,
The newer one,
Back one,
it's about 15-year-old, 20-year-old facility. So it's never gone through this cleansing process, so I'm interested to see what it's gonna look like.
and then the tanks, I know it's not on here, when's the next time you need to clean the 1 million gallon tanks out?
I think
With
we're,
the scuba divers and the whole.
yeah, every 5 years, and I think we're due not this year, but in FY 26.
Okay,
Right. And we clean both at the same time.
Yep.
And we save on mobilization costs by having them both in at once.
any other questions for the director?
Did I see digital sign? Did we talk about that?
Digital sign, so that was under the 25,000 threshold?
Oh, is it?
We can talk about it if you like.
It was
But
under.
it's under, yeah, it's under 25. I think it's
Okay.
22,000.
Gotcha.
It's a message board sign. Just,
As long as it doesn't affect the plow something, right?
we're gonna put it, no.
Right on the plow. I thought you could just angle it just
I
right.
apologize. Yeah.
I think that plow's doing great for it is out there.
Doesn't break down.
Mogul still hates the plow.
Well, they're probably building.
I hated the plow since the plow was put there. I still hate the plow.
Mogul's just gonna have to get used to it.
I've stopped complaining about it because it makes no
So
difference.
thanks for bringing it up.
That's why you.
Well, if you have any questions, you
We
can
know where to
always
get
feel
you.
free to reach out anytime.
Thank you, Randy.
You all, yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
today.
Thank you.
You guys did awesome during the massive blizzard on Tuesday.
Oh, DP, oh, look at, you guys are here.
It was fantastic.
For six, so we're early. Oh. We had you on the first.
We had you first, so we're out of money now, sorry.
Sorry, that's why I said, wow, they weren't the first at the well.
I thought Lieutenant would come along for some exposure to this and he actually shared the wealth, so he's prepared.
So he's gonna do the whole thing.
Yeah,
You have any handouts?
You have any handouts?
No.
All right, sir, you have the floor.
All right, so unfortunately, I'm unfamiliar with the process here, so you're gonna have to sort of take me through it.
Where's the caution tape for the new guy? All right.
Still on the tree out front.
It's. Okay, so anything over 25,000, we want to talk about.
Yes.
Under capital projects.
Which I believe the only thing under that is going to be the 2 police cruisers we asked for each budget season.
Yeah. Yeah, and has that price gone up or down, sir?
That price will be good for this year, around. We're gonna be able to do the 2 new cruisers within that money to the best of our knowledge.
So same as last year's numbers.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is this new layouts and cage out retrofits, because sometimes when you change over, you can move the cages and do that stuff. And then
Correct.
other times when you go to a new platform, you gotta start changing the cages, getting new cages.
Right, so we're at the point now where we've gotten all the new type cruisers in line.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be able to swap some of that equipment into one of these cars.
Okay. At some point we do
and
that.
there's a savings in this particular round because we don't have to outfit it with computers.
Gotcha.
So we save quite a bit there, so that's how we're.
Because you already have them, gonna move from.
Light bars too?
Late bars are all good,
Yeah.
everything, because the body style has not
It's
changed in this,
consistent.
in this.
Well, that's what we did a couple of years ago and
Right.
replace everything.
Exactly,
Mm.
okay.
Pretty simple.
Yeah,
You're used to it.
Well, I mean, essentially they are just consumables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they just run all the time and when you call them, they're there. They show up.
Do any of the departments have switched over to the green?
Well, I can't tell you we've heard anything good about
Okay.
the new cruisers, the hybrids.
Right.
We went and picked up the 2 new cruisers. That was the chief's car and another line cruiser a couple weeks ago, chief.
Yeah, about that, anyways.
2-3
Yeah,
weeks
one of
ago.
them on the road there.
Well, I'm just about ready to go on the road. And when we were over at
Become the same.
MHQ, they pretty much everyone we ran into, so they're having problem upon problem with those hybrid vehicles at this point.
Okay.
Ford's not gonna make hybrid Explorer next year for the consumer, only for the Interceptor. They're anticipating that the demand of what they can make. We're gonna move it all to
police.
police.
I know they're
Or the
having-
Interceptor, whoever.
I know they're
applies
having
that.
issues now. They canceled a big order with state police of those hybrids,
So, but
Mass
not
State Police? I
100 some odd cars, yeah.
25,
don't know how that works with green energy. That wasn't on our thing.
I mean, in theory, it works well. Because you don't have to, you can shut the car off, it'll run off the battery and your computer stays up and the
Right.
cabin stays warm and cool or whatever.
Right.
And it'll start itself if it needs to charge its battery. But I guess the implementation is not as good as the theory.
No, no.
Well,
There's
it's-
A lot
always
of the
gonna,
electronics associated with it seems to be on the emergency vehicles, the lighting and everything that goes where you
Yeah,
leave
it's a
them going
big
constantly.
demand
There's still got some work to do on that. It'll
Platform.
get there, but
They'll get,
for emergency response vehicles. I think for a regular residential, private owner, I've got a few, the hybrids and all them, they were fine. But I can imagine what it would be if they were under constant stress and had to sit there
Yeah.
running all the time and be, sort of the way you use them.
correct, yeah, that's what
So-
we're thinking.
I know we ran into Scott Fleabot, we were
Mhm.
familiar with over
Yes, I
at
know.
Sarah Ford, getting one of our other cars fixed and
Yeah.
they were MEMA was part of that order for state police. And he was saying MEMA's actually moving to, I believe he said Tacomas or something of that nature. They're Toyota.
The other issue too was besides the cost being so much is just the general cost to fix them. When something does happen, it's quite an exception.
Yes, those batteries are like 18 to $2,000.
Yeah.
bucks. Yeah. I know it.
Well, the message at the convention in Boston
Don't see
from the
anything.
state was start preparing,
Yeah, no doubt.
start preparing.
It's good. Apparently I said it at some
All
point.
right, folks.
That's it.
That's all you got, right?
Yeah.
That was all we got, unless you wanna talk about anything else.
No, not in our purview. We'll stick to the script.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Lisa's got.
All right, thank you.
All right,
Thank
thanks for your
you.
time. We appreciate it. No, that's.
No, I get it.
I didn't know we started doing this. Oh, so it's fine. Oh, they're on for six.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got next.
Yeah, could you ask Lisa to step in the room, Mr.
Oh, hey,
Chairman?
you got a minute?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Have a seat. How are you today?
Good.
So Lisa, introduce yourself in what capacity you're coming before the committee this evening?
Lisa Anderson, cemetery sexton.
Hey,
My
wonderful.
chairman's on
Nice to
another
meet you.
meeting. Oh, he can't be here.
All right, so for this evening for us, you have one tractor.
Mhm.
Okay.
Please tell us all about it.
It's more of a, it's not really, yeah, it's not really a tractor. We
Okay.
call it a tractor,
Right.
but as you see, the tractor that was bought last year for someone else would not even come close to digging a 6 foot hole.
Correct.
So we're not sharing.
Oh, that other one doesn't work for the application for which cemetery.
It would never
Correct.
work,
It
yeah.
would never work.
It would have to be heavy duty and
We wanted to buy.
is that because of the load capabilities needed to?
That and the fact that you gotta be able to won't dig a 6 foot hole.
Yeah.
It's not,
Oh, yeah,
it's
that
not the
doesn't-
right,
It's kind of
Dig it.
important in your line of work over there.
sort of.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a backhoe is what's needed.
And we're having some issues, not major issues, but it's gonna cost us money to clean up after the other digger that comes and digs. He comes in, he digs a hole and is gone. He makes a lot of ruts. So it's gonna cost us more money to clean up a mess that if we were doing it, we would be taking our time. We'd have just as much time as he does to dig, but we would be taking our time as we would leave the big truck on the
Paying.
roadway
Yeah.
and then bring the dirt or sand to it, where he brings the dirt, his big
Right.
dump
over.
truck on the grass, runs over the flat stones, and now we have to fix a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it is what it is, because we don't have any other way to do it right now. So this is,
Is he damaging any of the flat stones?
no, it's just because it's the ground so wet and his thing is so heavy.
Yeah.
We have some flat, real heavy,
We're doing year-round burials, right?
and we're doing year
See,
round.
that's the issue
Yeah, I
here
know.
too.
Yeah.
And it was great because we didn't have a lot of frozen ground, so we could still do it all and get them down, and we did a lot, but, so it's really not even about that, because we would just take more care,
Yeah.
because it's ours.
Yeah.
And we know what it's gonna have to do in the spring to fix it, so we're just gonna keep asking for it. And that's it.
Do you know what type of tractor you're working?
There's different kinds out there,
I'm just saying, it seems like the unit you're talking about, is this dollar amount enough to get that kind of a unit? Cause you're almost talking about a
A
backhoe.
mini excavator, really.
That's what. it
well,
means.
that's what
So
he
I'm
has,
just
but I
wondering
don't
whether
think
or not
his
this-
is worth this.
Whether the
The
value,
guy that's digging now, it's a small,
how much was the other one that we got, the one that David's using now?
that was like 25,
I'm just wondering. whether or
25,
not
26, something like that.
Could you, before our next meeting,
Mhm.
secure
A
an
quote or
estimate from
something,
somebody?
okay.
That would be good, as well as what you think to believe would be the attachments that go along with it.
Yeah,
Just so
the
that-
attachments, I could always buy extra attachments out of my own line
Right,
item
but I mean,
budget
basic
for the
attachments you
maintenance
need
and
to
stuff.
use it at day
Right,
one.
yeah, it would
So that would
definitely
be
be the
good to see
bigger,
what that number, that breakdown looks like for the committee.
okay.
Cause I think it's gonna be higher.
That's what I do too.
It might,
Yeah.
because we went from tractor, everyone telling us that just get a tractor. And then when Dave went and got his tractor, I pulled in and I said, no, that's not even gonna
That's-
come
that's
close.
not-
It's fine for the application.
No, it's not. a-
Right,
On our
but-
campus
but-
here, that's fine.
Exactly,
But I
but
don't think
that's,
that's gonna work.
no, but when I went to the finance committee FinCom, that's what was said, we'll give it to Dave and then you could share it. But I'm just saying, that's not, we're not that
That's
we
not
don't
gonna
wanna
work.
share, but it's not gonna work because it
Well,
just
You
isn't.
want to
remember-
share, so let's just.
Something about sandboxes?
I don't sure will, no.
And David, that device that we bought, machine that we bought was an upgrade from what he originally wanted, which was a lawnmower.
Yes.
Right.
Remember that.
That was a garden tractor at best.
Right.
And he's already had parts on this one break.
We know.
So I don't even wanna, if we're gonna spend the money, it's gonna be ours and it's gonna get taken care of. And we have a guy that maintains all our equipment now. So I just,
Yeah.
I don't see, I
You
don't
look
know.
small on
Might
a
as well get a
tractor, it's a
quote.
small
I think-
tractor.
Yeah, I
Everything
think
that
I
you
will.
do.
Dick has something at his house.
I think I'll do that, and then that way-
Attach it, Throw it all in there.
For the next meeting,
Right,
okay?
exactly.
Then I can just give it
A
to
la
you.
carte, let's
Let's-
look it over.
Yeah.
Get some breakdowns, see whether or not it's under state bid.
Right.
Maybe or something like that.
Because I don't even, I was hoping that Randy was gonna go ask for a new one and we
I
would
was
just take the
thinking that
other
this
one.
DPW,
just
everything
to-
coming off.
I
that
know,
could be
that's
used
what I
for
was
that.
thinking.
No,
But I
but
don't think
sometimes
so.
what happens is these discussions give rise to something like
Yeah,
that and say,
right.
you're gonna take whatever you have now and you're gonna take it offline sooner for this group over here. And then we'll just go get that one, which will be a good primary use vehicle for the
And he might
DPW
want
that's
an
gonna use it
updated,
every day.
you know what I
And
mean?
you also have to.
But
look
their
at-
number will be 75.
But then you have, but then you have to also keep in mind, probably,
Permit,
Feel
not
it.
permit,
do you have to have certain licensure to
Licensure.
use?
My
equipment?
guy's already in the middle of doing that,
Okay.
so he's already,
I
yeah,
should have.
so I'm not worried.
Had that all covered already.
Yeah. By the time I get, this even approved,
Yeah,
Hydraulic
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cause that may be another
Hoisting
conversation,
license,
so
right?
I would also
Yeah.
ask you, should we have her speak to Randy and have him just go get a quote?
Well, if he was behind me, he would have said, oh yeah, she can have mine and I'll just go add that to my list.
So,
Could
that's
ask him.
fine, just
Yeah.
tell him, I'll speak to him, just tell him to
Yeah.
go get a quote for
Yeah.
another one, and let's at least compare the issues.
Right.
Cause, and those guys know the
The
equipment
delta
too, like
is.
what they've got and what they would buy
Right.
for what
And
you
I
wanna
could,
do.
and I could probably ask to pay one of their guys to use that machine in my cemetery to train us
Oh, absolutely.
on it. And then,
Right,
you
they
know,
have a lot of.
until
they have a
my
lot
guy
of
gets his, all his,
licensure.
right,
They've got
exactly.
licensure and stipends, all of those guys.
Right,
To do stuff.
right. So it would all work out if we did it.
Okay.
So, okay. I'm good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go back and be the secretary.
Thanks for coming out of your way and coming into the meeting tonight.
No.
You don't have any minutes or anything.
Right.
I don't.
Civil, is that?
Careful.
Any new business?
No, I think the last meeting, I think we accepted the minutes.
Yes,
At the
I think we
conclusion
did.
of that
Yes,
year, so I
yeah.
think we were done with that housekeeping issue, because I wanna make sure we keep this committee on track. So we're looking forward to a future meeting, the fire department will be coming in. And we're also gonna talk about facilities management issues, about the other side of the building for a treasure collector's office and what the numbers look like to, as an option to undertake that project.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
right, because I think your finance committee guidelines had already asked people to be very conservative on what they submitted this year.
Yeah.
And so what I'm seeing, looks like people are complying with that.
Okay. Sounds good.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. I'll second that.
Aye.
All those in favor? Yep. Jody, the aye.
Alita G. Maria, I.
Doug Mogul said aye. Carl.
Yeah, I was saying, that's when you can do everybody.
Russ
All
Fox, aye.
right, meeting is adjourned. Can we shut that off?
Good night.